Alright guys, we are back with Pillars of Eternity, and we're on our own in the bear cave.
A blade in the dark.
There it is.
Yes. As you wish.
God, I hope we can kill it.
What is it?
Oh. Bear.
Kill them all!
Is he stunned or something? Did the bear get stunned? I don't understand.
As you wish. They won't see me coming. Yes.
Pretty sure we missed. Okay, so this thing took out... Yeah, it took out the bear super quick.
As you wish.
Yeah, we ain't killing this bear. We've only taken out 1 bar of 5. Okay. Okay, so... We are not taking the bear on. That's not something that's happening until we at least get a bigger party, so... Let's get the hell out of here. I go back to him and be like, "You're right, man.
Of course.
Couldn't take on the bear." Take us 8 hours to complete your journey from Valewood to Gilded Vale. Well, we know where the bear cave is now, so whenever we get a full party, we can come out and try to take it down.
Let's sit our spoils down a while.
Got house over there. We can get over there at some point. Ooh. Are these bad guys? No.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
A man approaches you, his skin as dull and gray as the desolate village behind him. He scans you with sunken, lifeless eyes. His voice is a dry croak. He glances at the gnarled, leafless monstrosity of a tree next to him. Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is a buzzing of the flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
No?
Are you absolutely certain?
Lord Radric...
Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head over so slightly toward the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
I've been feeling strange ever since a close call with a Beowick. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak.
He points at a body
Consider
hanging
yourself
from the tree.
fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
This dude's a dick. You said something about Hollowborn and Waidwin's legacy before? He blinks. I forgot that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been scourge upon the Direwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his hands, his empty hands. In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name Waidwin's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Before I got here, I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Engwithun ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Barith have mercy. We certainly have. I don't think so. Just as they finished, there was a Beowick. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. If you'd been that close to a Beowick, you wouldn't be standing by.
Keep out of...
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed.
Urgent looks out towards the east, his expression unreadable. He blinks slowly and turns his attention back to you.
3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
What happened? He shrugs one bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps, but that is not your concern. What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy has struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Barith must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. Farewell. Visions and whispers. Where's it going? Oh, my mouse was up there. Quest completed. The Gilded Vale. You talk to people. Keep out of trouble. Oh, that's the same. That's him. Okay. I'd like to know more about Gilded Vale. We're a frontier village, as are most settlements in the Direwood. Gilded Vale hasn't grown much since its establishment in the colonial days, and the last 15 years have seen our population shrink further. He takes in the ramshackle houses and half-fallen fences. hence our recruitment of fresh settlers. Why has Gilded Vale's population been shrinking? Waidwin's legacy, of course. Many women have had difficulty bearing healthy children of late. A few years ago, Lord Raedric decreed that no mothers of Hollowborn are to be allowed in Gilded Vale. His mouth tightens into a firm line. His lordship dealt swiftly with the objectors. It may be harsh, but if it purges us of this curse, it is worth it. Is it not worth it? Tell me about those ruins behind the tree. That's what's left of the temple of Eothas. His lips pucker. Lord Raedric forbade worship of the dead god after the Saints' War. It's been abandoned for almost 15 years, but there are plans to rededicate it to Bereth, the god of life and death. You'll get to know the town well enough as you explore, I'm sure. Tell me about Lord Raedric. He comes from a line of nobles who have defended these lands since Aegir times. Raedric II was an early supporter of Direwooden independence during the Revolution, and the current Lord's father perished in the Saints' War. Hollowborn began appearing in the Direwood shortly after the war's end. Lord Raedric has taken it upon himself to purge the curse of Gilded Vale. His measures have been severe but necessary. Unfortunately, it may not have been enough, if the bells were any indication. The Saints' War? Our age's most egregious example of man's madness. 15 years ago, the people of Raedcreus decided that Waidwin, their living saint, was the literal incarnation of the god Eothas. Urgent wrinkles his pinched nose. This supposed saint took it upon himself to liberate the Direwood, supposedly from allegiances to less worthy gods. But I've never known any army to conquer a land for its people's own good. The war lasted about a year, but you can guess what that year did to the worship of Eothas in the Direwood. Lord Raedric's forebears had all been Eothasians. But after his father fell defending us from those fanatics, he personally saw that the temple of Eothas here in town was shut down. He points at a few ruined walls near the tree. Okay, so honestly, from the sound of it, this guy did not really like what went on. That's just a villager. So you got houses and stuff over there. All the hanged people. Does this require us to climb a tree, or is this on the wall? Oh, it's just on the wall. I was gonna say, I don't think we can climb this tree. Either. Talk to him in a second, if we can. There's some stairs, we can go right there.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Looking for anyone who can help me feel better. He gives an understanding nod as he takes a long drag from his pipe. My condolences. He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the village around him. Really? Welcome to our lovely village. Oh, well. Guess he ain't talking to us. I want to see. Okay, so the place is pretty big, to be honest. Temple of Eothas, so that's probably what's under here. This doesn't seem to be anything we can interact with, so let's just go up here and grab whatever's over here. Oh, we can go in here, never mind. Despite the rains, the stalks feel as dry and stiff as a locust husk. No nutrients in the ground, probably. Gold rot chew.
You must gather your party before venture.
As the bear had to be close enough. Kira Ilo. Belgian, okay. The Direwood Part 3, The War of Black Trees and the Rise of Admeth Hadrit. Holy shit. Okay, well let's get it started, I guess. After the Broken Stone War, the Direwood would see peace and prosperity for 21 years. Aside from the occasional slave uprising or border dispute, nothing of any note happened until 2652 AI. Some of the Direwooden earls, tired of being restricted by the treaties and encouraged by imperial sources, defied the decree and actively sent people to loot the ruins in the Direwood. Response from the Glanfathans was not immediate, but when it came, it was brutal and bloody. There was a slave uprising, and Regd resumed control of his guerrilla fighters. A contingent of Delegman joined the forces as well, making the fights in the forest even more deadly for the Direwooden soldiers. Edrang, then far too old to lead Direwood in the war, sent his son, Admeth, to deal with the situation. Admeth, showing the same tactical prowess as his father, set fire to the forest as the Isiur River then blocks the forces retreating from the Inferno. Some of the Glanfathans escape, but thousands would die in the blaze. Regd is captured and sent to holding in New Homer. The goes on for several months, and Admeth uses this same tactic many times to flush Glanfathans and Delegman from the battlefield. The entire war lasts less than a year. The Direwood eventually wins, but at a terrible price. The conflict would come to be known as the War of Black Trees. Tragedy struck the Direwood in 2654, when Edrang, whose health had been waning, succumbed and passed into the cycle. Regd, who had developed a begrudging respect for his constant adversary over the years they had fought, sent Admeth his sincere condolences from captivity in New Homer. Admeth assumed his father's place as Griff over the Direwood. The other earls disliked this development and began publicly rebuking Admeth's decree. In 2655, just a year later, Admeth, tired of the problems caused by the recalcitrant earls, but having support of the New Vale Ducks and the common folk of Direwood, having saved them from the Glanfathans, delivers an ultimatum to the Furconi of Adir. He demands to be made a Grief Paladin. This move would give him authority and power over all the earls, their holdings, and their titles. Direwood would become a Palatinate instead of a Griefer. The Furconian, who did not want to have to deal with the rebellion while trying to establish a hold on the Vorlis trade network in Redcurus, begrudgingly agreed to Admeth's demands. Admeth would use his new power to bring all the earls in line. As a trade-off for being given the power, Admeth put money and resources into all the Direwood's ports to increase shipping traffic. In turn, this increased the Furconian's income. Under Admeth's rule, the Direwood saw 7 productive and profitable years. In 2662 AI, he did what had been tried for many years without success, bringing slavery to an end in the Direwood. He negotiated the 10 Years' Treaty, so called because it has been 10 years since the War of Black Trees. A timeline was established in which the slaves will be released. The owners would be compensated with money or land for each slave released. If they did not comply, the slaves would be taken and a fine will be levied against the owner. In return, the Glanfathans would open trade with the Direwood and cede some of their territories to the Direwooden government. In practice, meaning they would stop contesting the presence of those who lived and ruled there. Hundreds of Coopers attempted to rebel against this. Admeth, expecting just just such a reacted accordingly, and the rebellion was quickly crushed. His agents then spread propaganda throughout the populace, making the Cooper's Rebellion and its instigators seem far worse than they truly were. This tactic worked, and there would be no more trouble. Okay. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. Shit. I'm not gonna do anything, because I didn't want to, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Oh, so the bear could revive me, I guess. Well, I don't think they would have been too hard to kill.
Let's set our spoils down a while.
What the? Okay, well, what is it, F5? Or F8? One of them saves and loads. There we go. So if we read it, exit, okay. Grain oil. Okay, it does say stealing right there. I'm an idiot. Let's just talk. Kira Loth. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a crowded marketplace, vendors' stalls lining the road, their proprietors' voices calling out to passers-by to come sample their wares. This woman wanders through the throngs, scrolling hand in hand with another woman. They pursue the vendors' goods, tearing at a book merchant with a number of old and beautiful tomes, chatting with one another about what they see. One will pick up a book and show it to the other, who will take it, comment on it, and place it back on its shelf. Then the first will snatch up the book again, and quickly pay the merchant before the other can snatch it back. They walk away from the market, weighed down by packs filled with books, still hand in hand, standing close, comfortable, and familiar with each other. As they pass down a somewhat deserted street, an object suddenly hits this woman in the chest and bounces off, rolling away toward one of the buildings. The women stop and look at the object, an apple, and then back up at the person who threw it. There's nothing special about him aside from an angry look on his face, and the two other apples he holds. Sorry, I'm butchering that. Before either woman can move, the man draws back and throws another one at them, this time hitting the second woman in the forehead. He yells at them something derisive and hateful, something about a legacy and about responsibilities. The woman raises her hand to her head and wipes the juice and bits of fruit from her face, and stares the man down defiantly. The first woman squeezes her hand and puts the other on her companion's shoulder, attempting to calm her down. The other woman pulls a book from her pack and holds it before her, muttering under her breath. She pulls her hand free and waves it above the book, an aura forming around her. The first woman is still trying to calm her down, but all she says goes unheard. The man, uncaring of the events happening in front of him, draws back and throws the last apple. As it arcs through the air toward them, the second woman brings up her hand and points at the apple. A glowing orb of energy flies from her hand and strikes the apple, causing it to explode, raining bits of apple down on the road and buildings around them. The man's face changes, anger joined by fear. looking like he's trying to decide if running or attacking is the better course of action. The second woman has started chanting again, her hand glowing, her eyes narrowing. This woman steps in front of her, placing herself between her love and their attacker. She touches her face, gently stroking it while whispering calming words. A kiss. The woman's countenance changes. She calms, her eyes softening, her lips regaining the lost smile. The first woman smiles again as well and kisses the other. Wizard scum, the man behind them says, and the two women turn to face him, staring him down defiantly. They join hands and begin walking again, moving past him without so much as a sideways glance. Whoa. So that's these two, I'm guessing. So when we talk to somebody, we can kind of see what happened in their past, I'm guessing. Edlian person. As you near, you feel vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Reach out for the soul. You see a key turn gently, steady, and hear a ghostly click as the door swings inward. Two figures slip in, blocking the door behind them, and begin their prowl. Their hunt is efficient, and it takes them little time to acquire a sizable collection of documents in oddly shaped velvet pouches. Quick hands fill pockets, rucksacks, bags. The door opens downstairs and everything freezes. Footsteps, a tired giggle. The thieves are all eye, whites, and short breath as they empty their pockets of all the necessities. Anything noisy hurriedly replaced. Silence from downstairs, then tentative steps up the staircase. A voice calls out. One thief creeps forward, the other gesticulating wildly for him to return. He continues forward, crouching by the banister. He sees a gaudy shoe and shoves. The woman falls with a cut-off scream, rolling lifelessly to the floor below. Swearing, the second thief grabs her brother, and they make their escape, collecting whatever of value they can on the way out. Okay. Rats scurry behind the sacks. Well then, I'd like to take some of your stuff, but that's stealing. That was actually really, really interesting. I don't know why I didn't realize I could do that. I mean, do we want to give this power up? You know?
As you wish.
Dorn Chamberlain. Oh my god, so is there gonna be like... You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of a courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it closed around his neck. The crowd has congregated around a platform, and they all watch, transfixed, as a man is led to the platform, flanked by two city guardsmen. The man is shackled, hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform unrolls a parchment and begins to read. But the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent with each one. The cloaked man flinches and his shoulders droop. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard. As the crier reaches the end of his proclamation, the crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shouts. The man turns back to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into cheers and applause. He leans against the wall, regaining his composure, then straightens up. With obvious resolve, he strides off, away from the crowd and his legacy. Okay, that guy's had hard times. Rudolfir Necator. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee. Their owner, a slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by, a small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods with a select few. Always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes, he approaches a heavy-set Amawa, smile plastered stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming him several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. Oh, man. So, okay. No actual talking to these people, it's just that. That's a lot of reading, let me tell you. Well, before we go in there, let's check out what's in this small door. So with the villagers... Okay, that doesn't happen. I need to find someone to sell this crap to. Oh, there's two people in here. Ingrode, this man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. God. They move to embrace until the woman notices you approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Welcome.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nanton? Nanton coughs. Yes, I think we met in the Valewood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so, Ingrode laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and... She looks at Nanton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Nanton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Is there anything you can tell me about Gilded Vale? Ingrode smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the trees, I imagine, but the rock goes deeper. If you're looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves, not Nads. So I wonder, was it F8? No quick save available. Oh, this is part 2. And it doesn't say this one's stealing. Okay, and this one's not a freaking actual book. In 2626, AI, a group of farmers, while clearing farmland for planting, accidentally knocked down one of the ancient Adria menhirs on their land. This innocent act drew the ire of the native population and started what would come to be known as the Broken Stone War. When it was finally over, several thousand colonists had been killed, as well as hundreds of the Glanfathans. Even though the war was technically over, the Glanfathans escalated their attacks on the settlers over the next 2 years using vicious tactics that left many colonists, several military figures, an earl, and 6 Thayans dead. Unable to stop the Glanfathans' attacks, the earls elected Earl Edrang Hadrit to the position of Grief. Well respected and known to be a master of military tactics, he was tasked with dealing with the Glanfathan threat. Edrang fought with the Glanfathans, led by an Orlan named Regd, for the next 2 years. Neither side can gain the upper hand on the other, resulting in a tense stalemate between the two groups. Because of this stalemate, the hostilities slowly died off, and in 2631 the Direwooden people signed a treaty with the Glanfathans. Red would step down, the Glanfathans would stop their attacks altogether, and the Direwood people would leave the ruins alone. This treaty angered the nobility in Adir, as it brought to a halt the supply of artifacts. Edrang also tried to get the practice of slavery outlawed, but this was not successful. Because of this, the peace between the Direwood and Ir Glanfath is uneasy and tumultuous. Small patches of rural violence still cropped up, but were easily dealt with, as neither side wanted another war. So we can take this. Yeah, okay. And we can also take this. Silver Lusk. The most common Valian coin found in the Direwood in the Silver Lusk fish, so named for its resemblance to the scale fish. Okay.
Hello. Well met, friend.
No, not you. God damn it.
Good day to you.
Okay, so you can't talk to Nanton at all. That's weird. Bottles of Sonnerid is half empty. Okay, so we found Nanton. And they're leaving. Okay. So we know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through the door, gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, swiner. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. But we'll be back, Trumbull, and we'll have fair prices. Or, by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. Investigate the feud. Okay. But first, let's search around the little grain mill. I guess that's what it is. Trumbull. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, his eyes wide. Behind him a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises the club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. Oh, we don't have enough resolve. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? Is Swiner roping foreigners into his little crusade now? We can tell him our name. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. Trouble shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its shine scraped off. Just a big dung heap now. And Swiner thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. What was all the ruckus outside? Trouble shakes his head. Where to begin? Swiner's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swiner and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on your way into town. The crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers. Why is that a question? Trumbull gestures to the sacks and containers. It's gone off. Rotted, though. I can't pay top price for blighted wheat, and I barely got enough good grain to go around. Swiner's howling after things he has no rights to. Maybe I ought to go have a talk with Swiner then. Seems like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. Oh, we could go talk to Swiner. I had other questions. Yes, I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seemed pretty angry. Who's Swiner? The dwarf, the one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Bastard's been there for decades, and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. Number 3. I thought you could use some help. Really? Trumbull sighs relief. Haley's tits. What? Could I use a friendly face? I take it you heard some part of what that crowd's asking for. Grain, as if I've got it all tucked away somewhere. Swiner's been egging that lot on for days now. They've been keeping clear so far, but if things keep up like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please, if you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could speak to Swiner. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we're all getting smaller rations now. We're all making sacrifices. Let's see. I'll go see what I can do. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. Okay. Resolve the feud between Trumbull and Swiner. Well, I hope I don't need resolve. Okay, so this would be stealing their grain. Yeah, their... A rancid stench rises from the grains. It's mushy and modded with green. Ugh. Actually, I want to check what my resolve is. What's this? Formation. You can have them. Oh, that's cool. You can have them in a different formation. I didn't realize. Oh, resolve is 10. We only need 4. Damn. So, and that's actually our least one. So that's something we didn't put anything in. Damn it. We do need to up our athletics, I think, but... Alright, so we've checked this one, this one, this one. I don't think we're over here yet. But I guess we'll just go around this way. A cow. Despite the rains, the stalks feel okay. Alright, so nothing else over here. Let's go ahead and see if we can go in any of these houses. We can't go any more to the right. Okay, so we can go in there. That's this one. Not much down here. Black Hammer Smithery. Okay. So maybe we can sell some of our stuff, because I have a feeling soon, once we get companions, we won't be able to carry anything. I'm guessing that everything is stealing. Yeah. Okay, so I think when you have the red... Oh yeah, okay, it's kind of like bandit goggles. Oh, but this isn't. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. 1. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. 2. Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. 3. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. 4. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so multiply the fruits of your knowledge. 5. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper your ingots of your will, and you will never shatter. 6. Embrace your station. Fulfill the duties of your rank and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. 7. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. 8. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools will with the destitute. 9. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. I like how you can read the stuff without stealing it. Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. Guard. Apprentice. If you want to buy something, it's Tintano you should speak to. Okay, that's this guy? Yes. But first, Harlan, Ornenson, and... oh, these guys, okay. As you near, you feel a vibrant history containing the essence of this man's soul. Reach for the soul. Harlan Ornenson. You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone. A series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the vision ahead. His eyes are locked on a Delimgan, beautiful and terrible, eyes half-lidded as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder. Trilling gently, the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he smiles, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The Delimgan half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting, and with agonizing slowness, he is before her. Then, something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes, and just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire, nevertheless, and begins to chant, but the words of a magical language, of his own imagining, scribbled in a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. Duggan Steelcollar. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zurips. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it, as he stands in the middle of his comrades chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phrase, the battlefield changes. His allies glow with a pulsing blue light, freezing the Zurips that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen Zurips suddenly explodes as three giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant thoroughly, enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to one. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings it at the Zurup. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. Okay. This Alma man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared root and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome. You're the first new faces I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. Tatiana glances at the guard standing watch along the wall, but the black hammer smithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time. I'm afraid the stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet, all forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves. Maybe, to make some coin. Tatiana snorts, as if that lot would dare. Tautanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for the supply wagon. Or my shipment, at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Redrick Tetnanu, whatever. Glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. I'll find your supplies. Tatanu nods. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, tell them to hurry it up, or they can take up farming instead. Okay, travel to the Black Meadow. But can we...
How do you do?
See his wares. Can I sell to him? Oh, stores allow you to trade and sell your items for copper pieces, CP, or items in the store's inventory. Merchants buy items from you at a greatly reduced price. If you sell something, you may see it appear in the store's inventory with a much greater cost. Stores periodically refresh their inventories. Okay, so that's good. Not the one where they sell us for less, but... Quarterstaff. 15 to 22, we'll keep that. Deflection 12, negative 4 accuracy, medium, small, 8 deflection. And actually, how much coin does he have? What is this? Retrain character. Oh, no. Like, does he have a certain amount of coin? Oh wow, he has some hold wall. Damage 24 to 35, better than ours. We'll keep like one. We'll keep 2 daggers just in case. 10 to 14 slash, and this does 12 to 17, so I don't think we need that at all. A mace. Yeah, I think we'll keep all that. DR 660. That's direwolf clothing. It just sucks. We can't hold any of these. Whoops. No. Yeah, that's the cool cape. We'll keep those. Keeping all those. We read these books, so we don't need them. Okay. Thank God we got rid of all that. Okay, South Eater, Temple, Alof. I feel like this, yeah, it's the inn, okay. So we have a couple of places before we actually get to the inn. Theophalion. You see a pennant waving tall and sluggish in the wind, a rising sun embroidered on the banner, the vanguard of a small troop of paladins. The atmosphere is buoyant, if restrained, and their armor has not yet been tarnished by the elements. This expedition is fresh, young, filled with zest and zeal. At their head stands a commander, awkward in full armor but determined in step. Despite the excitement of his fellows, he does not smile. There's a twist to his mouth, his countenance grim. He throws up a hand, halting his troop. Silence falls among them, revealing a dark thunder deep and low. He orders them to ready their weapons and spread out. Eyes dart from horizon to horizon, necks twisting to see the source of the sound. In the distance, dust and lightning rise from the ground as Stygian clouds race towards them overhead. The soldiers stand, only the staccato movement of their breath betraying their nerves. The commander closes his eyes, calling a blessing on his troops, invigorated, invincible. They wait as the enemy draws closer, poised to attack. Beneath the vines are crude carvings of a sun rising over 3 stars. So there is down there, but not sure we want to go there just yet. There's Alof. Let's go up here really quick because we didn't search that one. Oh, Alof. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height, his stature, suggests an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
The others, two folk men and an elven woman, don't look convinced. The woman crosses her arms. She spits at his feet. Let's see, everyone calm down. Whatever this is about, I'm sure it's an overreaction. Angry townsman. One of the other men glares at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. We're humble folk, but we're no fools. Not like he thinks, mocking us while he shelters in our village. We don't take to that kind of talk from foreigners, especially not Adrians.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
The second man thrusts his chin at the elf. He stinks of sour ale.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
Okay.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
A collective cry of outrage rises from the three locals. The second man snarls.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
Horror and shock paint themselves across the elven man's face in broad, hasty strokes. He frowns and swallows. He plants his feet. Something surly and raw flickers through his eyes.
That's where you're wrong.
The elven woman draws a blade. I don't think attacking him is such a good idea. Back down, all of you. This is absurd. This is unnecessary. Wouldn't you rather be inside drinking than out here arguing? I think that might work because they're already drunk. We don't want your charity either, foreigner. They squint at you through red, bleary eyes. It sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. What the hell? If we attack the townsmen, aren't they gonna... Isn't the whole town gonna, like, hate us? Let's see. I mean, I have a feeling they're not gonna be that hard to kill, but... Is he in our party? Oh no, okay. Wow, they were really easy. As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
You mean slaughtering them? You're welcome.
Well, that is one way of putting it.
He straightens his hood and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with a caravan, but we separated near some ruins.
Ingwithan ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. In half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
A bailiwick. No reason to lie.
And you survived? I've heard such a thing was impossible. But it seems you either have a knack for timing or the favor of the gods.
Just how did you manage to cross those three drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. You did make a rather loose suggestion regarding one of the aggressors and his own sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I try to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I see. I heard the same thing. For just a moment, he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you expect to see some blood. Finally, his face relaxes and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. I don't care, man. What are you doing in Gilded Vale?
An excellent question.
He folds his arms
I
and
came
frowns.
looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
And you? I've been experiencing strange things of late. I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
He nods at a gnarled old tree in the center of town. His darting glance takes in the tumble-down buildings and the fallow, rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise will be best sought elsewhere. You don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
So do I. Let's go then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Awesome, we got a person in our party. He has Aloth's Grimir. What the hell is this? Wizards have the ability to learn a staggering number of spells, but they are always limited by the capacity of their Grimirs. At any given time, a Grimir may only contain 4 spells of each level. Click on a spell in the right panel to remove it from the Grimir. Add spells to empty slots by clicking on the spell in the left panel. Okay. So right now he has Minoless... Oh, he has Minoless Minor Missiles. Summons 3 spell missiles that batter the target, inflicting crush or corrode damage. Fan of Flames. Creates a cone of fire in front of the caster, causing burn damage to anyone in the area of effect. Azamir's Dazzling Lights. Overwhelms anyone in the area of effect with a brilliant and bewildering pyrotechnic display, decreasing their will and leaving them dazed. Kalikoth's Sunless Grasp. The caster's hands become so cold as to freeze what they touch. Does freeze damage to a target and reduces its accuracy. And we can put on Wizard's Double. Combat only, not in Grimoire. Creates a duplicate of the caster to distract enemies, granting the caster a high deflection bonus until he or she is hit or crit. Cool. He gets a Scepter. Range is 10 meters, it's fast. Interrupts is 0.5 seconds. Damage 10 to 15, crush and slash. Then he has this 10 to 14 pierce. We might switch that one out. And he's got Alice leather armor and a hood. Cool. They did not have much.
I shall.
And then I told her, that's not the pistol. Alright, so there's Doll Villagers. Oh, it's taking my guy a super long time to get over there. He must have got stuck. I want to fully explore this. Well, not fully explore, but I want to explore some of the town. That's all stealing. The Worn Dog earned book. Travels upon. Okay. Who's this? Ephru. A dry, dire-wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child. For she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter. Dang it, I was hoping to get another person.
Hail, traveler.
Well, finally. I was starting to think The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? I just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Odin was by chance? I was, yes. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Ophrah covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kaliska was always so certain she could take on any danger. Ophrah sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her. She might still be alive, somewhere. Ophrah's face crumples and a solitary tear slides down her cheeks. Why'd you send for Kaliska? Kaliska mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance. Quit your sniveling. Is there anything I can do? Oh, say 2. Ophrah looks at you with some surprise before dabbing at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. Ophrah wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kaliska as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless. Empty. It's happened to so many mothers. In Lord Raedric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. She sniffs. With my Hathor gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. Oh, come on! King Wayfarers and gold-packed knights. What? I hoped Kaliska could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far from me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else now, with Kaliska gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? I'll find Ranga for you. Yeah. Ophrah blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, God bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of. Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Anslog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. Okay. Travel to Anslog's Compass and speak to Mother Ranga. Dang, it's still stealing. Okay. Getting a lot of quests in here. Okay, so that was this house. Road west in. We can go down there. Temple of Eothos. Just to see really quick, and then we'll head into the inn. I have a feeling it's either going to be a lot of reading down here or just really big. There's a dude. A rising sun and the 3 dawn stars, the symbol of Eothos. Wharton. A man lies resting against the wall, lit by the dim illumination of the fading sconces. He has a gaunt, fox-like aspect, and his face is pale and damp with sweat. One arm is held loosely against his side, sleeve soaked with blood. He gives you an anxious glance as you near, his features twisted with pain.
Hail, traveler.
Ha, thought you were some... never mind. Whoever you are, you've traveled a long way to reach a dark place. This temple isn't what it used to be, probably for the best. Times being as they are. He groans and shifts position, wincing. I'm no looter, if that's what you're thinking. Not one of the faithful either. Just wanted to do some good, I suppose. Got my arm clawed up for it. He regards you warily. Maybe you'd have better luck? Better luck with what? The man points a finger upwards. These ruins around us used to be a temple of Eothos, the scattered god, a grand temple at that. His worshippers would come from all over the Direwood, from Red Saris even. Until the war, of course. Even then, you'd get some of the stubborn ones. The ones that couldn't get it through their heads that their god was dead and gone. Eothos? I don't even know what that is. Is really time for a history lesson? Or, go on. Once the legacy started, Lord Raedric decided he'd been too lenient on the Eothasians. He had his people go in and put them to the sword, left them down there, buried under a heap of rock. After that, Raedric ordered the temple sealed. It's been years like that, up until recently. Lord Raedric hopes that if we rededicate the temple to a living god, then we'll be forgiven and the legacy will end, see? He smiles wryly. But until then, the temple is as you see it, unguarded. That's where you come in. Ritton licks his lips. Those priests, maybe they didn't have a lick of sense between them, but they still didn't deserve to go like that, chopped down in their god's house. It doesn't sit right with me. If you can go down there, find their remains, maybe we can finally give them a proper burial. Warden breathes out. No small task. There's coin in it for you if you need motivating. A pleasant surprise to see that someone around here has a shred of respect for the dead. They're long dead. What does this do with buried? Wait, have you been? Wait, you want me to bring you some skeletons? I have some questions first. Yes. Why can't you do this yourself? Always hurt. Who are you anyway? Wharton offers you a weak grin. Name's Wharton. I've lived in Gilded Vale long enough to remember how grand it used to be. He shrugs and looks away. I used to help the temple sometimes, bring supplies, that's all. Won't Lord Raedric mind us digging around down there? I wouldn't go telling him about it. Lingering in these places, it's no good for anyone. But you do this quick and quiet, and we can do right by those priests without raising a fuss. Any chance there's something down there worth a little more than some old bones? Probably. Nobody's been through the place since it was sealed up. Well, apart from me. And I didn't touch anything. Any valuables in there, you get first crack at them. I only ask that you do this favor for me while you're at it. Yeah, I'll find them. Then by the flame, I owe you a good turn. But listen, the temple's been sealed off for so long, it's crawling with creatures. What if you get past them? The priests would have been down on the lower floor. They'll be there still, if they're anywhere. Those priests had all kinds of secret chambers, switches in the walls, tricks, sconces, that kind of thing. Keep an eye out, and take care down there. I wouldn't want to have to send someone else after your remains. I'll wait here by the stairs and keep a lookout. Maybe try to patch myself up soon. Some. Okay, search the temple. But first, I want to go to the inn because we need to sleep. Get some get some of that fatigue out. The Blackhound Inn. You ever been to Defiance Bay? Okay, this is the last building to search. Or do whatever. The floorboards are sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean. Pasca. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. We have Pasca. Let's see. Tenfrith.
Hello.
And welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? I could use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone looking for work? Oh, well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Oh wow, we gained a ton of experience. Let me see what I have to work with. Maybe later. Level 1 adventurer. So it would cost us 250 to get this guy. Huh. Task completed, late for dinner.
Hello.
I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here too, fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Tenfrith's the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Even left his poor hound behind. That's the name, see? The Black Hound. It's still sitting upstairs pining after him, poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow, she laughs. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by the way of a good meal today. She sighs. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. Okay. Talk to Tenfrith. That's stealing, of course. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. The party has gained a recipe, savory pie. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Hell yeah, man. So now, shoot, where is it? Inventory? Shoot, where was all of our recipes and stuff? I can't remember. Whatever, let's just search this place. We're gonna get the room because we need it. Okay, so we can probably talk to some of these guys. They're all villagers, so let's go over here. Scroll of Fan of Flames. Developments of the Crucible Knight Part 2 Senior Ranka. Oops. Commander and Forge Master. Tell you what, we'll read that one. Oops, we'll read that one later, just because. Damn it. All right, let's search the place real quick and just grab a and then grab a room. Roaches scatter and flee into the crates. 10 years of dawn. In guest.
I'll see it done.
I don't know if that's going to make that person really mad at me.
I'll see it done.
Let's try it.
It's finished.
Duelist hat. Okay. More stuff to read when we get back. These bones are covered in tiny bite marks. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Sorry, girl, don't think he's coming back. Let's pet the dog. Oh. The dog whines softly again, head tilting. Well, you can come with me. Maybe we'll find him on the way. The dog's ears perk up. It trots over to you and barks happily. You have gained an item. Black hound added to inventory. What? I don't understand. Why the dog is in our inventory? It's a pet. The small dog has a glossy black coat and an affable disposition. She trots along at your heels, gazing up devotedly whenever you come to a stop. Oh, so we can have that or the piglet. Okay. Okay. No quick save available. Is it F5? Okay, okay.
Where there's a pick, there's a way. It's finished.
Oh man, this will be scary. A scroll, turquoise, and a ring of deflection. Better be stealing. Dang it.
Gods keep you.
Certainly, you're always welcome. Labor's rest lasts for 2 rests, plus 1 perception and mechanics, the common room. Direwoods. Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available. But if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive options. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. Well, I'm stopping right after this, so we're just going to go to the common room. Rest in the common room for 0 copper. Whoa. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly your head snaps up, and her eyes open, and they are empty and behind them in a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks the word, Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. And we gained 464 experience. Find the dwarf woman from the dream. And I think we're fully, like, yeah, okay. We're good now. And look at this. This is our main one, I think. Our main quest. These are the DLCs, of course. And then we have Buried Secret, Search the Temple. We're going to do that one next after we read everything and talk to all the people in here. A Mother's Plea. Don't know. I wish they could tell you, like, if you're too low level. The Smith's Shipment, Trouble with Black Meadow, and Tasks Against the Grain. And then we're going to try and do this one as well after the Buried Secrets. So, again, we're going to end it here. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm loving it, and bye.